Yup, you know what time it is, man. This is, of course, your favorite channel, man, CTB. This is Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy, Jay Slay. So what up to him, man?
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in.
Most definitely, this is going to be our fight review for the big event tonight, man. Looking forward to some boxing like always. We got Tszyu versus Harrison, man. This is probably Harrison's last hurrah. He's acting like he's very confident in the press conferences and the weigh-ins. So I'm really looking forward to the way he's gonna have for Tszyu, you know what I mean? But Tszyu also, he has to look dominant in this fight if he want to make a big splash before his big Charlo fight. So he's also has something to prove. So this is gonna be a very, very interesting fight. It's gonna be a battle of skill and a battle of will, man. So we're gonna break it down a lot in this video right here. We're gonna talk about the odds of the fight. We're gonna break down our picks for the fight and why we chose that person to win this fight. I'm gonna start with you, man. What weaknesses do you see that Tszyu can exploit from Harrison, and what some of the strengths you see he can use against Harrison's weaknesses?
I think the main thing as far as Harrison's weaknesses, which I think is no secret, is lack of focus. I won't touch that one because you probably gonna jump more into that one. I would say just his stamina. He tends to come out strong, fast. If you ever seen Tony Harrison fight, he's never really been outboxed in a fight that I can recall. He normally starts off good, and he normally fades the last, 8 to 12 or 7 to 12. He normally starts to fade, and he normally gets stopped or he loses the fight because he doesn't put up the same effort he do the first half of the fight. So I would go with stamina, but I don't really think it's a stamina issue with him. I just think that, like you said, I think it's stamina mixed with a lack of focus. But I think that's probably Tony Harrison weakness that Tszyu can exploit. But I would say for Tszyu is to make it ugly, to make it dirty. Don't let it be a clean, boring, out-pointed fight while he's getting out-pointed, letting Tony Harrison win easy round. I think he needs to rough him up. He needs to grab him. He needs to clinch. Get in there, get some shots in. Keep his work rate busy. When he get him on the ropes, let his hands go. Do anything to tire out Tony Harrison so the second half of the fight, if he does fade, Tszyu can come on and try to finish the fight or either take the fight over and win on a decision.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you on all those points. And you're absolutely right. My pick will be his lack of focus. I think I'm real big on Harrison. I've been real big on Harrison. I actually picked him to beat Charlo in the first and the second fight back in the day. I actually picked him to win because I thought he would outbox Charlo. Even though the first fight, in my opinion, I can see how most people would give it to Charlo in the first fight, but I wasn't mad with the upset from Harrison. The second fight, in my opinion, it would have been more dominant. Like I said, he was clear cut out working Charlo. Clear cut. Whatever Charlo tried to do in the pocket, he would counter it and hit him. He was hitting Charlo clean in the pocket. But then he started baiting for the crowd, man. Started dancing and shit for the crowd. And then 30 seconds later, get caught by a left hook, man. Left hook to the body, left hook to the head. And did a little dance against the ropes after that because he was playing around. So I just hope he don't go in here with that same level of asininity when it comes to Tszyu. Because in my opinion, man, this might be his last hurrah, his last shot to get if he won a Charlo third fight with Charlo, or he might have to pick up one of these vacant belts once Charlo move up, which we'll talk about that later on in this video. But yeah, Tszyu, man, he has to go ahead and use his physical strength. I think he'll be physically more stronger than Harrison. Harrison, his game plan will be to outbox, and outbox in the pocket though. He's not a really big mover, but he will outbox you and count and shoot and catch and all your parries and all that shit that can get Tszyu off his game. But Tszyu, like you said, had to grab him. He has to hold him. He has to bully him a little bit to get Harrison out of his game, and then hope he can land that big hook or that big right hand on Harrison. But what are some of the strengths you see Harrison has against Tszyu, man, that you think he can take advantage of? And what are some of the strengths that you see he would use against that weakness?
As far as the strength for Harrison, I would say ring generalship, man. Like you need to control this fight with your jab, work off your jab, counter punch. Like I said, you the better boxer. Like if you box tonight, he should be able to win this fight 8-4, 9-3 if he boxes and stays on his toe and stays focused, like you said. So I think when it comes to the boxing, Tszyu is not on the same level. I think Tszyu has more grit, and like you said, he's stronger, so he has to make it an ugly, dirty, counter inside fight. While Tony Harrison can stay on the outside and just box and wait to counter. For Tszyu, I think his weakness is, for one, I want to give Tszyu some credit. Like I said, I think in the boxing community, we don't give guys enough credit for putting it on the line. That's why guys don't like to take chances in boxing, because we don't give them credit when it's due. So I want to give Tszyu his credit, because when Charlo pulled out the fight, he could have just took a touch up and then tried to wait on Charlo when he recovered. But he took Tony Harrison in fight. So I want to give him credit for that, but it's also could be his weakness, because it's a lot of pressure on Tszyu. As far as, for one, he's fighting to try to impress, like you said. I think Showtime and PBC wanted this fight because now it makes the Charlo fight bigger if he beats Tony Harrison. But also he's fighting in Australia in front of his home country. So, it's going to be a lot of pressure to perform in front of everybody when everybody is there to root for you. So it's added pressure on him. So I think that, along with counterpunching, he gets caught with a lot of counterpunches. And that's Tony Harrison, one of his main weapons is counterpunching. So he had to be very careful in this fight.
Yeah, I agree with you both of those points. I'm going to touch on the, like you said, his strengths will be outboxing, but I'm going to touch on also the speed advantage. He has a great speed advantage against Tszyu. Tszyu is not the fastest person. He's very, I'm not going to say robotic, but he's very predictable. He has a very predictable style, similar to Charlo, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, Harrison was outboxing Charlo a lot in two of those fights. So he has, in my opinion, a less athletic version of Charlo in Tszyu. So he should be able to use his athleticism and his speed to, counter the slow mobility of Tszyu. And like you said, there's a lot of pressure on Tszyu. He's fighting at home. But to me, the pressure's on Harrison. Like you said, he's fighting in Australia. So it kind of goes both hands in hand. He has to go in here and outbox somebody who's already the fan favorite. So he has to go in here and, like you said, if he win anything less than 8 or 9 rounds, he might get upset. He might be upset. If it's close, if he win by a round or two, it might be, like you said, a draw or a robbery draw or a robbery outright. So he has to go out here and show and prove, and he can't go ahead and act like he's gonna be dancing for the crowd, because that crowd ain't here to see you dance. They're here to see you get knocked out, in my honest opinion. So there's no need for you to go in there and try to showboat for the fans that don't like you. Go ahead and do like David Henney did and put your hard hat on and go ahead and put the work in on this dude, man, and make sure it's a clear-cut victory. If you want to go ahead and win this title, so that way you can get your third shot with Charlo. But yeah, what's your prediction, man? How you see it going? And then, of course, let me know the round you see it, if you see it going the distance. Let me know how you're going to put your money on that fight, man.
I think it's going to be a very interesting fight, man. I think it's going to be a little bit more entertaining than people think, because they think that Harrison was just going to try to box. But I think in the early rounds, he's going to sit down and try to back Tszyu up by trying to hurt him or sting him, to let him know he just can't run in on him. Because I think Tszyu plan is to put pressure on Tony Harrison to wear him down and to catch him in the back half of the fight. So I think that first 3 or 4 rounds is going to be very explosive, but I still favor Tony Harrison in the early round. As the fight goes along, though, I think Harrison may be up 4 rounds, but I see him fading again, and Tszyu coming on strong with that crowd behind him, and I feel him trying to come on to try to make the distance. But I think at the very end, the last couple rounds, I think Tony Harrison will pick it back up, get his second win those last 2 rounds, and win 7-5 or 8-4 overall for a decision, in my opinion. So I would take Tony Harrison for a decision, either 115, 113, or 116 to 112.
I agree with you, man. I also have Harrison winning this fight by decision. I'm just really nervous about that pick because, like I said, pretty much how you broke it down, verbatim is what I was going to say. I see Harrison coming out throwing bombs early, trying to get Tszyu's respect. I see Tszyu losing respect in that aspect and realize he probably can take Harrison power and start putting heavy pressure on him. And I see Harrison fading, man. I see him fading. I'm just hoping he don't, like I said plenty times in this video already, I just hope he don't fade and showboat at the same time, because it's a bad combination when you know with a puncher. So I can see a late stoppage with Tszyu. It wouldn't surprise me if it happens that way for a late stoppage from Tszyu. So I'll put a little bit of money on that. I might sprinkle a little bit of money on that bet. A little bit of chump change, but I will most definitely put in some money because he's an overwhelming underdog. So I will be stupid if I didn't put a little bit of money on Harrison for a decision, because I actually think that is a more safer bet in my opinion. Like I said, unless Vegas knows something I don't know, that is what I feel will happen in this fight, man. But you got anything else you want to add to this topic of this fight on Showtime tonight? Looking forward to.
I would just say, as far as the odds, as far as my pick for the odds, this is my pick to chin up boxing. I would say go with Tony Harrison for the decision win. It is plus 490 right now, almost 5 times your money for a decision win for Tony Harrison. I don't see Tony Harrison stopping Tszyu, even though he do got popped. But if he gonna win this fight, he gonna win a decision. The last couple fights he fought, he's been boxing great. I think that he has a lot of advantage over Tszyu to stay on the outside and win 8 rounds. So if you want to come up and flip that money real fast, man, you can drop, $25 to $50 on it and get you some nice money for next week, or for, for a date night, whatever, or for gas in your car, for whatever. But I also would say, just to cover myself, because like you said, I think if it's 7-5-ish for Tony Harrison, I can see it being a draw because it being in Australia. I would go put money on the draw at plus 1600. So like you said, I would throw a few dollars on the draw just to cover my bet, but also take Tony Harrison for a decision.
You heard the man. That's the betting expert. My boy Mon, man, he comes with the picks. So you bet responsibly. That's all I can tell you guys. We give our picks. So you make sure you bet responsibly. Don't put your house up on somebody you I'm 100% confident in. And man, just go enjoy a good night of boxing, man. Like I said, it's on Showtime tonight. I think the first card starts at 10:45, I believe is what it said. So it's good. Look forward to a good night of boxing, man. But with that being said, this is your favorite channel, man, CTB. This is Chain Talk Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Say peace to him, man.
All right, everybody. Please subscribe. We're trying to grow. Hit the notification button so you'll know when we're dropping the video. Hit the like button so more people can see the video, and comment and let us know what you think about our predictions and the odds that we just gave y'all. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing, but most of all, God, peace and love, and we out of here.